Welcome back, gamers and gamies. That sounded odd. This is it, the finale. Over the last 2 months, I set out on a quest to become the thickest pancake in all the land. I wanted to achieve 3k IO on my protection warrior, a class I wasn't too familiar with, but I was eager to learn. In this video, you will get to experience the end of the journey with me. I'll be honest, I never thought I would actually get here. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Weren't you just 2,500 in the last episode? Look at you with that mega IQ. Correct. We are doing a little bit of a time leap here, and let me explain why. I really don't want to continue making episodes after Season 3 is over, due to the very unique circumstance. That being that most of the Shadowlands dungeons will be outdated, and no longer playable as current competitive content. A lot of you have mentioned that you enjoy the series a lot for the tanking tips that I include in the dungeons, and I personally don't think it would be enjoyable for the viewer if I show off 30 hours of gameplay of keys that aren't obtainable anymore. Who knows though, I might be wrong. If this video gets 300 likes, maybe I will make a few behind the scenes episodes that will cover the jump between then and now. If you want to join me over on Twitch, you can always watch me attempt these keys live. We laugh, we cry, we make borderline edgy jokes that will probably get me canceled one day. Anyways, it's a lot of fun. For those who aren't aware, I do plan on doing a series again next season, so stay tuned for that. Really quick, my analyst says I should tell you guys to like and subscribe. Yeah, I guess. Supposedly it helps with the algorithm. I do post content like this along with guides, reviews, and Twitch highlights, so that's a bonus, I guess. Alright, without any more rambling, let's get into it. After the last episode, I found myself failing keys left and right. It was like this for a few stream sessions in a row. I found myself frustrated, angry, and dumbfounded. Knowing that the season was coming to an end and obtaining IO upgrades was getting just harder and harder, I was kind of in just a dark place. I have a rule where I don't leave keys until someone else leaves, so I have to stay and finish this, which sucks because we're going to fail the key. There's no doubt in my mind. But fucking fuck. I am an elitist, like, right? Like, I'm a person who gets upset when people, like, I treat everything like it's cutting edge. You need to go. I know that pugs aren't like that, right? And I'm definitely in the minority. Guys, please. I don't know what to do. So you should prioritize staying alive, right? You can't. But I've always been like that with sports, with school. Like, I am just with work. I'm just like, okay, you fucked up the first laser. Cool, we wiped. And I want to be like, I'm a perfectionist. When we get back here, we wipe through the same exact thing to the same exact players doing the same exact fucking bullshit. I don't know why I'm doing this, honestly. I'm fucking done. And the healer left the key. Oh my. It can't be that hard, right? Am I crazy? Holy shit, man. So shit like this just drives me nuts. I decided to take a few days off to clear my head. I just hated that I was constantly asking myself, why do I play this game? Everything turned around when I decided to pug a few keys with my favorite person in the world, Zed Baby.
Okay, I'm in the middle of a mug, so I saved it. You can look at where I'm at while I
oh god. In the middle of a mid-mog. Yeah, that's mid-mog,
Look at the
dude.
base of the daggers.
Oh,
the base of the daggers coming out the front. What is that,
dude?
man?
It's like a school desk, bro. You can write your papers on that.
I can eat my lunch on that.
You could put, if you put them together, it makes a plate. I know this goes against the challenge just a little bit, but I just didn't care. It's not like he's good at Rogue, nor was this a full pre-made group. World of Warcraft is an MMO after all, and being a part of a community or a guild or having a great friend group is really what makes this game amazing. There are a ton of ways to go about it, but I know that I definitely have a much greater appreciation for the friends that I've made over the last few years playing WoW.
Yo, give me 20 seconds for my blades.
Yeah, we can sit here and AFK. No one has CDs actually, just the hunter.
Oh, that wasn't 20 seconds!
Why would I wait 20 seconds for you?
You said you would!
I also told my mom I was gonna get a job, you know? And here we are, playing WoW. Yeah, we can wait, insta pulls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That's what you
Yeah,
did.
we can wait. Nah.
You wait 20 seconds? Yeah,
I
yeah,
am-
nobody's
I-
got CDs. The depths will take you all! Like, what do you mean, man?
After this session of keys and a few small eye upgrades, I was getting back into the swing of this. And I had a much better outlook on this challenge. The next few stream sessions were actually really, really fun. And after a few days, it wasn't long until I found myself on the doorstep of 3KIO and I was ready for the finale stream. We're so close, guys. Guys, we're so close. Holy shit. Best warrior I've ever... Dude, look at this. Oh my god. Best warrior I've ever healed. Aw, thanks, homie. Dude, that's a fat fucking compliment. Dude, look at this. Almost 6k healing, bro. And this is where we find ourselves. About 10 days out from the end of the season. This was the beginning of a tyrannical, bursting volcanic week. Easily one of the best weeks on the calendar as far as affixes go. I decided to actually dress up for the occasion. Unlike the previous episodes, you'll actually find me calling Maldraxxus home. There was a point where pushing around the 18 benchmark that I started to notice some rage starvation issues along with the general survivability. So I decided to actually go Necrolord, which is easily the best Covenant choice for the Protection Warrior. The main ability you gain from the Necrolords is Conqueror's Banner, which grants mastery and rage generation, which both play a critical role in their survivability aspect of the spec. There are also tertiary traits like undulating maneuvers that further solidify the damage taken profile of the Protection Warrior. Anyways, since I swapped, I found myself increasingly tankier, which definitely contributed to my success here. Alright, anyways, here's my plan. With only 18 points left to go, I decided to warm up a little bit by pugging a key, and focusing on the keys with lower points. That mindset landed me within 19 spires, which by my estimations would give me roughly 6 points if we timed it. I needed to make a quick stop to the auction house to pick up a few items like health pots, flasks, and food before we got started. And after sitting in queue for a few minutes, the leader actually asked me if he could pass lead to fill faster. That's never a good sign. Since we were listed for a while, I actually took the liberty to take down the listing and relist us to put us back at the top of the group finder. Spires should actually be really easy this week. Volcanics is almost a non-affix, and rarely will you ever pull big enough to warrant any danger from bursting sacks reaching the upper echelon of applications. I decided to be pretty picky because I set out with one goal today, and that's to get 3k IO. I grabbed a Resto Shaman since they have a pretty great toolkit for handling Goliaths, which is a fairly dangerous mob in Spires. Little did I know that the Shaman would be a trap. Despite some of my concerns at the start of the key, it went off without a hitch, and we had an extremely clean execution of the first 2 pulls. This was a great start to the stream. We had a woe kill on the first boss, as expected, which is obviously the most desired relic. Thank God the season is over. Honestly, I'm gonna miss the speed, but just not when it's unexpected. After the first boss fell, I headed up towards the left platform to gather skirmishers and the Ether drivers to stack them up nice and neat on the stairs. While this dungeon will no longer exist, this is a common strategy that is essentially timeless. Using line of sight mechanics to gather mobs or packs to an optimized location will always be a way to speed up the execution of a given key. This is pure tank orgasm. Look at this stack into a shockwave. The more I end up playing Warrior, the more I end up enjoying it due to the unique traits and characteristics. Even one of the harder pulls in the dungeon is a joke this week. My first death actually happened shortly after this, when we decided to do a double pull. I could have used a larger defensive like Shield Wall, but honestly I figured the Bursting and Insidious Venom Dispel would be the priority in this instance. Unfortunately, the Shaman did not agree. Chat also pointed out that he was casting Wellspring when I died, which is a huge yikes. I inspected him and I was shocked. His entire build was incorrect. Oftentimes in keys, there are some talents that can be flexible, meaning that the player can choose between 2 or 3 different talents with minimal impact. A great example on Warrior is Crackling Thunder versus Bounding Stride. One of those talents provides an additional slow while the other provides a speed boost. Now there are some other talents that are more non-negotiable, like Indomitable. You can typically find out which talents are playable and which ones aren't using a great site called Subcreation. Now of course, this really only applies to higher keys when numbers are tuned high enough where these poor decisions can actually have a compounding effect, resulting in deaths or wipes. This shaman was running some pretty horrible talents. Wellspring, for example, is tuned really great for raid, because it's an uncapped heal that can be snapshotted into a Cloudburst healing totem. Also, Earthen Wall totem is a throughput healing totem to counter rot damage in raid, but has almost no effect in Mythic Plus since the frequency of taking fast-paced low damage is practically non-existent. You'll never actually get the full use of the totem no matter what key level it is. Anyways, this is gonna start turning into a rant. It ended up being fine for the rest of the key, but eventually will bite me in the ass. By the time we got to Mr. Orion, chat was hyping me up. Oh, I'm gonna miss spell reflecting the stomp on this boss. These are bittersweet times, for sure. We found ourselves atop the spire with 13 minutes left, and that's a whole lot of time to finish this key in a comfortable fashion. It wasn't the angels though that I was worried about, it was Devos. Devos is an extremely brutal boss for a few reasons. Melee downtime is mega cringe when the group doesn't bait properly. Also, group damage burst from the detonation is pretty real, especially when your healer is running raid talents. Also, set phases, similar to Margrave and Plaguefall, means that the fight will naturally take longer to finish, in essence, increasing the likelihood to wipe. We had a few bad baits, but an extremely fast intermission. If we could just replicate this, this key is in the bag. Oh, there we go, that's how a bait should look. All was going well until we ended up getting a res, but sadly a combination of different class abilities caused the group to wipe. With only 18% health left, this was an easy fight. It was just going to take a little longer than expected. Now, if the shaman was running Ascendance instead of Wellspring, maybe we would have lived there. Just saying. An easy 6 IO, we're warmed up and we're feeling good. Alright, I have the secret weapon to getting 3k IO in my bags. My lowest key is a Sanguine on Tyrannical Week, sitting at a 17, and I just so happen to have a 22 in my bags. Let's list this key and get going. I'm super impatient, and despite knowing I should wait for the perfect healer, I want to jump right into the key. I was extremely eager. While we were waiting for a healer to queue, I looked over the shaman's logs from the last key, and boy oh boy was it interesting. So Earthen Wall almost did negative healing, and Wellspring was only casted 17 times. On top of that, he was playing Necrolord, which in a world where Kyrian exists with Vesper Totem, I don't understand how that's a possibility. And that isn't going to be the last we're going to be seeing of that shaman. Then the mage whispered me to kick the warrior, which I thought was hysterical. Taps have killed Jaden, you're precious, never change. Hal, the warrior, was actually a viewer of mine. Huge shout out, Hal. I know this goes against the challenge slightly, but I don't care, it's fun. I ended up going with this Holy Paladin who was waiting in queue for a few minutes. My shortened ability to be patient will probably be my downfall. For those who have traveled to the depths of Denathrace's prison, this dungeon was always known for having extremely difficult and punishing bosses. Going into this key, I was nervous for Tarvold and Berlia, the second and third boss. The start of the key was textbook. Moderately sized pull, the optimized cleave for the warrior and the hunter, and the cooldown reduction for the frost mage on icy veins. As we traversed deeper into the depths, every pull was more and more challenging. While not usual, I started having a feeling deep down that our party had a group IQ of 12. The same frost mage who told me to kick the warrior because of his low IO was the one who pulled the sentinel, which as any tank will know, is mega cringe. And as anyone would guess, we would wipe. Oh, and right before that, this nincompoop sends a frozen orb into the next room. I'm so done with this season. We shared some laughs in Twitch chat about how ridiculous those two events were, especially back to back, and continued on. Luckily, this key is pretty forgiving until you wipe multiple times. I wasn't even worried about the one wipe. After clearing around Tarfald's ring, we pulled the boss, and to no one's surprise, we got woe. But for some reason, the paladin uses bubble on the very first castigate, and not the challenging overlap. Also, this is the moment that I realized that it was a BM hunter and not a good one. Who misplaces a wild spirits in a 22? A few takeaways here, a few friendly tips. Watch out for patrols. Also, don't send your AoE into rooms that aren't being pulled yet. Also, make sure you land your largest CD on the boss and not nothing. And most importantly, don't use, please, for the love of God, your immunity at the start of a fight while Lust or Hero is active. While you have either Lust or Hero active, it's typically seen as a DPS increase, but 30% haste on a healer allows them to just Chad pump heals, and oftentimes the hardest overlaps in a fight will typically happen later. And for Tarvald specifically, this will always be on the 3rd or 4th castigate since there's going to be overlapping add damage as well as movement from the beams. That's okay, we can't win them all. We listed the 21 and tried again. A Warlock queued up, and you could typically imagine a Warlock with a high IO will pump. So naturally I invited him. An added bonus, he said he just watched my video last night. After a few minutes, the Shaman from the 19 Spires from earlier had queued up for the key. I knew, deep down, it might have been a mistake due to the extremely poor talent choices. We inspected him, and to no surprise he was running Torrent, Earthen Wall, and Wellspring. The favored raid talents, but choices that make almost no sense in Mythic Plus. Now, I know what you're gonna do. No reason to scroll down to the comment section. I should have informed the guy that he was playing wrong. Or maybe I was supposed to kick him for not playing the cookie cutter build? No, wait. I was supposed to, let him do whatever he wants? It seems like no matter what I point out in these videos, I'll always be in the wrong. Well, let's just see how this goes. The key started fine, but noticed some issues on the first boss, per usual. And if you struggle with the first boss, you're definitely going to struggle with the next. Each boss in this dungeon tends to be increasingly difficult. Not only did we have to use a battle res, but we also had to use the Shaman's Ankh, so no more get out of jail free cards. Jokes aside, Thunder Reaver was fine mechanically, but he just chose to handicap himself by his talent and Covenant choices. F. So we just wasted our Lantern buff, because the Shaman decided not to use a Dispel, Astral Shift, Earth Ellie, or Stone Form to remove his bursting stacks. Once we hit the second boss, shit really hit the fan quick. With no battle res and a down a DPS on a freshly pulled boss, this was looking grim. We gave it the old college try, but sadly, to no avail. I said goodbye to Hal and began queuing for keys since my key would no longer provide enough IO to hit 3k. It didn't take long for me to get into a Theater of Pain 21, a fitting dungeon for someone fighting for a pointless accolade. The composition we landed on was less than ideal, but I think we can make this work. The key was slotted and we proceeded to the first boss encounter space by utilizing our potions of invisibility to skip trash. Then Twitch chat pointed out something interesting to me while dealing with the first boss. I asked him why the scale, and he responded with this. I said F and moved on. I just wanted to time the key and move on with my life. For this, we put our differences aside and we proceeded into the depths of the Colosseum.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray.
This is it. The only thing standing between me and my dream of being a mediocre warrior was this ugly hoe. Unlike Mordretha, I have a purpose here. And I'll let this play out. Enjoy. Let's go! I am the best warrior that's ever been alive, except for all the ones that are still better than me and play more consistently and actually do the rotation right. Oh my god. Let's fucking go, dude. The squad. The squad. I'm so fucking hyped. And just like that, our journey is complete. From a 0 to a slightly less 0. I still don't have a girlfriend and my mom doesn't approve of most of my life choices, but that's not important. I am now a 3K protection warrior in a virtual world. I can't thank you guys enough for all of the support and feedback that I've gotten over the course of this series. It honestly means the world to me. Seriously, whether you watch this as a series as a way to learn, or to laugh, or to relate, or make fun of some random punk on the internet, I hope it brought you whatever you were looking for. Going forward, I plan on turning this into a seasonal journey. You won't find me playing Protection Warrior next season though, but instead a class and spec that was voted on by you guys. I am proud to announce that the new Zero to Hero challenge next season will be Enhancement Shaman. Yikes. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If this video gets 300 likes, I will do an extra episode for this series to fill you in how I went from 2,500 to 2,900. If you want to experience the journey with me live, feel free to check out my Twitch or my Discord to be updated on that. Both will be linked below. It's honestly crazy how